Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to another sports stuff video, and today I'm going to be doing a series I'm trying to do where I'm doing mock drafts per team instead of just the first and second round. I'm doing per team, and today I'm starting with the NFC South. That is the Panthers, the Saints, the Falcons, and the Buccaneers. Of course, you guys should know that, but if you don't, if you're a new sports fan, you don't know the divisions, I'm going to try and help you out. So, draft season is exactly actually a month away. I'm recording this a little early, but this video will be coming out on the 28th, so it's actually exactly a month away from when this video releases that the draft happens. And when the draft does happen, here at Sports Stuff, we are doing a draftathon. I'm so excited. So last year I did a draftathon, and it was over on Twitch. Not doing that this year. It's going to be on this YouTube channel. I'm doing a draftathon. I'm going to have special guests. I'm going to have really cool games I'm going to be playing during it. And on the screen, you'll be seeing my mock draft per pick, so you guys can know who I chose and why I chose that person over certain people. And I can just react to the shock and awe, because I'm a Browns fan. I don't got a first round pick this year, so I can just sit back and enjoy all of y'all's messy picks. But let's get into the NFC South video. Let me click over on here. So I already drafted. I'm trying to save as much time as possible for you guys, because I want to be able to shoot these videos out real quickly, because I know how much you guys want to watch these videos. So the Panthers are the first team. What I try to do is make sure I never chose a player that another team chose. So like Zion Johnson in the Buccaneers draft fell to 27. But where is it? But in the Saints pick, he was like pick 15. So like, yes, it's different, but they did not choose the people that another team chose. So like Alec Lindstrom, Chris Paul, Jelani Woods, and the Panthers are not on any other team. So it's kind of realistic. But let's get into it. So the Panthers, I had them sit at 6. I thought of a trade up, but when I looked at their draft picks, I'm like, there's no way, with the trade value and the trade chart that these teams use, no one's gonna value a 4th, a 5th, a 5th, a 6th, and a 7th anywhere to where they can move up from 6 to 4, 6 to 3. No chance. So I had him sit, and I said, whatever tackle falls to me, I'm gonna choose, whether it's Ike Mekwonu, Evan Neal, or Charles Cross. Charles Cross and Ike Mekwonu went before Evan Neal, which is very likely. I think Evan Neal is actually like the best tackle in this class. I think Charles Cross is the second best tackle in this class, but I think Ike Mekwonu is more versatile. So I have him more as a offensive line prospect than just a tackle prospect. But with Evan Neal, I can see why some people have their downsides of him. It's not, you already know what you're going to get from Evan Neal. Ike Mekwonu, you know what you're going to get, but you're going to expect him to take another step. Charles Cross is another prospect where you expect him to get better. Evan Neal, I really do feel like he's plateaued at where he's at, which is still a borderline Pro Bowl tackle. And he's played experience on both sides of the line. So if Taylor Moton, leaves in free agency or he wants to trade, you can move him to right tackle. But this is where I'm thinking you solidify that left tackle position, and that offensive line becomes really good. And I did a couple more offensive line picks because I want to make sure this offensive line is set. So Evan Neal goes at number 6. They don't have a second or third round pick because they traded him in random trades, whether it was with Teddy Bridgewater, whether it was Sam Darnold, doesn't really matter. They trade those picks, they don't have it. Their next pick is in the 4th round. Now, they did sign, I believe, Bradley Bozeman from the Ravens, but I thought, hey, let's get Alec Lindstrom. I don't know how many years Bradley Bozeman's going to be on, going to be in the league or on this team even, whether it's a 1 or 2 year deal. I'm not officially sure if those numbers have come out yet. So Alec Lindstrom is a project piece to where you can really develop him out of Boston College. He was opposite of Zion Johnson, and Zion Johnson covered up a lot of Alec Lindstrom's mess ups. But I think give Lindstrom a chance, draft him in the 4th round, and try and develop him as much as possible, because he's done a really good job developing Taylor Moton. Yes, it wasn't this current offensive line staff, as well as I'm pretty sure it's a new offensive line staff. I'm pretty sure they went with Ron Rivera when he left. But Alec Lindstrom, give him a chance to develop. I really do believe in his technique. There are flaws to him. That's why he's not, a second or third round pick. But I really do believe Alec Lindstrom can be a starter in this league, given the right opportunity. And with Austin Corbett and who's the other guard? I forgot the other guard they have. But with Austin Corbett and their left guard, I really do think that Alec Lindstrom can slide in a year or two and really solidify the offensive line. And Chris Paul out of Tulsa, I think he's just a really good swing tackle. He can be your true 6th man on the line immediately, day 1. He's good enough to start, be a stopgap starter. Kind of like, I think every offensive line needs that 6th guy. He can be a Chris Hubbard. I truly believe he can be a Chris Hubbard. He can be a Holopiliti Vaitai for the Lions, and he was for the Eagles. I think he can really be that, if someone needs to come in for these tackles and play good enough to not ruin the line, I think that's Chris Paul. And again, if Evan Neal doesn't work out, or if Taylor Moton wants to leave in free agency, Chris Paul can start for a couple games, and, or if someone gets injured, he can start for a couple games and be good enough to, not lower the floor. He's not going to elevate your offensive line, but he's not going to lower the floor of your offensive line. Next up is Jelani Woods. Jelani Woods is my favorite tight end in this class. Him and Weidemeyer are really my guys in this tight end room. So the fact that he was there at 149, I had to take him. He's an athletic freak. Pretty decent blocker, pretty good receiver. He's not excellent at anything. He has good size, good hands. But, he's good at everything, but not above average. He's just good enough to, I think, if he is your tight end number 2, he adds versatility to that running game. But mainly as a receiving threat, I think he can really develop into a really good receiving tight end. And I believe they just have Tommy Tremble. I think that's the only tight end that they really do have. Austin Hooper was rumored to come to the Panthers, but he ultimately signed with the Titans. So get Jelani Woods. Again, just a depth piece to try and help this offensive group move forward with Sam Darnold. Jeffrey Gunter, I don't know a whole lot about him, but when I clicked on his profile to see what his draft stock was, he played interior and exterior and was excellent in the run game. That's exactly what the Panthers need. They need run game support. When you're in the NFC South and you have Cordell Patterson, you have Leonard Fournette, and you have Alvin Kamara, you really do need guys who are pretty good with the run. And Jeffrey Gunter at Coastal Carolina apparently was really good in that. I never watched a single Coastal Carolina game. So Coastal Carolina fans, please tell me, is this a good pickup? I think it is in the 6th round. And in the 7th round, I grabbed Caleb Ellaby. As a Michigan guy, I like Caleb Ellaby. I don't think he's going to be, a starter. I think he could have the same impact that a Gardner Minshew has, where he's good enough to come in and start for you, and he's not going to, take it to the playoffs, but he's going to make sure that your franchise stays afloat. Gardner Minshew with the Jaguars, when he was given an opportunity, really did shine, and I think it's the exact same model that Caleb Ellaby could step into, to where he plays, Gardner Minshew played a game or two for the Eagles this year and played really well. I think Caleb Ellaby can have that effect. I think he's on the same level as a Gardner Minshew, a Taylor Heineke, that level of backup quarterback who can come in and start for you and really help your team out. PFF gave me a B+, and I actually completely agree with that. The Alec Lindstrom pick is a projection. I do like him. Jelani Woods is my pet project. I love Jelani Woods. I hope he succeeds in the league. Jeffrey Gunter, don't really know about him, but he's a good run defender. So with those picks, I knew Caleb Ellaby was going to be really good. I knew the Chris Paul pick was going to be amazing. It was amazing value. And Evan Neal at 6 is amazing value as well. But B+ for the Carolina Panthers, I'm okay with. Panthers fans, let me know in the comments what you guys think. I hope you like this mock draft, because I think it's pretty good for your team and what you need. I know you wanted a quarterback. There's no quarterback worth at 6. You get one in the round 7 that at worst can be a Gardner Minshew. I mean, at worst is a 7th round pick. It's a throwaway pick. At best, could be a Gardner Minshew type of quarterback. So where you're he's someone you can root for. Next up is the Atlanta Falcons. So I actually messed up with the Falcons. I meant to click 7-round mock draft, but I clicked 3. But even in these 3 rounds, that's a perfect mock draft for the Falcons. So at pick 8, I really did think of trading down and trying to get more draft picks and taking just like a Traylon Burks, a Chris Olave. But I decided, no. Take either the best receiver in this class or the second best receiver in this class. It's real close. So he's either 1A or 1B. Him and Drake London really have shined. But Drake London's been falling down people's boards recently. I think it's just draft fatigue. I think everyone's like, oh, he's going to go a top 10 pick. Let's just start, let's let him slide. I don't think it's going to happen. I think Drake London's going to be a top 10 pick, whether it's with the Jets or with the Falcons. He's going to be a top 10 pick in my opinion. But so is Garrett Wilson. I think whatever wide receiver doesn't go to the Falcons is going to go to the Jets in that top 10, whether it's at pick 4 or pick 10. But we'll get to that eventually when I do the AFC East. But Garrett Wilson at number 8, with Calvin Ridley being suspended, and he was going to be traded anyway. But with him being suspended, you need a wide receiver 1. You don't get any draft capital back for Calvin Ridley or players. Russell Gage left, which really that hurts. That does hurt because Russell Gage was really starting to shine with you. But you got Olamide Zaccheaus, who I really like. I love Zaccheaus. I believe you also have Cameron Blake, who was a late round draft pick just a couple years ago. I like Cameron Blake. He's pretty solid in the slot. But, I mean, eliminated Zacchaeus, Garrett Wilson. That's a pretty okay young wide receiver core. You could definitely improve wide receiver 2. But if you get Garrett Wilson, that's a bona fide wide receiver 1. And with Kyle Pitts as well, that receiver room could be really good for Marcus Mariota, who, this team is going to suck next year, right? This team is going to be bad. Might as well make it fun for the fans. Give yourself a really good offense and build your defense, through next season. But, build around a quarterback that's either you draft in this year's draft, as you can see in round 3, or if it doesn't work out, if Carson Strong's legs don't work, you're going to have a high draft pick next year, so we'll see. Next up is Jalen Petrie. I got him out of Baylor. He's a corner safety hybrid, and that's exactly what this team needs. It needs versatility. They have Richie Grant, they have AJ Terrell, they have Grady Jarrett, they have Deion Jones. And Deion Jones really hasn't been playing good recently, but you get Richie Grant, who was a steal last year. You have AJ Terrell, who was a lockdown corner, deserved all-pro praise, in my opinion. Why not add more versatility and starter-level quality to that secondary room? Jalen Petrie is exactly that. He's easily probably my second best safety corner hybrid. Daxton Hill's obviously number 1. But Jalen Petrie, he might be a fringe first-round pick. I wouldn't be surprised if a team like the Chiefs take him with one of their first-round picks. I would not be surprised because he's really good. They need corners and safeties, so I think there's a chance that they might take him in the first round. Slips out of the first round, falls to 43, had to pick him up. Really good safety corner mix. Really good ball hawk, and he can play all over the field. Next up is one of my guys, okay? Kingsley Enagbare is one of my guys. He is good across the board. He's only in the second round because of how good that depth in the edge class is. Put Kingsley Enagbare in like the 2016 draft. Let's just say 2016. He's a first round pick. The 2012, 2014 classes. He's a fringe first round pick or first round pick in those classes. Kingsley Enagbare is so good, and I will keep shouting from the rooftops he's good. And the fact that the Falcons are going to get him, I think it's really good for them. He's really versatile. I went Dylan Parham. I thought, Dylan Parham is really good. Well, he's not really good. There's a reason he's in the third round. He's a really good prospect, and I think given the right developments, I think he can really be a good starter. And Arthur Smith is showing to be a pretty good guy, a pretty good offensive guy. And I think there's ways that he can scheme to hide Dylan Parham's deficiencies. He's not the greatest athlete, but I like Dylan Parham's tape. I like him. His versatility, can play either guard spots. And I believe there are rumors that there's a chance that he might play a little bit of center. When Zion Johnson started taking snaps at center, I heard a lot of different guards were, and he was one of them. I want to watch his pro day tape. I want to see how he's developed from the combine to the pro day. I haven't seen it yet, so we'll see what, I'll look at it again. But I like Dylan Parham. He's probably my 5th or 6th best guard, but he's a little, he might take up a little bit because he's versatile. And in the third round, I grabbed Carson Strong, okay? I grabbed Carson Strong because here's the thing. If Carson's legs hold up, right? If his legs don't break and somehow his issues are solved overnight, he's a second round pick. He's a fringe first round pick. If his legs magically get healed overnight where it will never be a problem, he's a fringe first round pick. He's pretty solid. And there's a real chance that, if you can get him in the third round, he might beat out Marcus Mariota as a starter in camp. It's a very high possibility. I'm excited to see what Carson Strong can do in the league. And I think the Falcons are just the right team to take a chance on him in the third round. You already got Dylan Parham, you got Kingsley Enagbare, you got Jalen Petrie, you got Garrett Wilson. That's a successful first 4 picks. Take a shot on Carson Strong. He could be a franchise quarterback for all you know. I mean, Russell Wilson was a 3rd round pick. Dak was a 4th round pick. Tom Brady, obviously, was a 6th round pick. Yada, yada, yada. There are guys in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, all through the 7th round. Gardner Minshew was a 6th round pick. And he could be a starter for you. I never understood the Marcus Mariota thing. I really thought Mariota would go to Cleveland and then he would fill in for Deshaun Watson's his suspension, and then he'd play well in Cleveland and get a big payday next year. But he chose the Falcons. I don't know if the Falcons are going to keep Marcus Mariota as a starter, because if Carson Strong shows a lot of potential in camp, there's a chance Mariota is going to get benched for Carson Strong. Because I would play with Carson Strong over Marcus Mariota, because you know what you're going to get on Mariota. You know what you're going to get. But pretty good draft overall for the Falcons. Gave me an A minus. I completely agree. That's an amazing draft. I would have given the Garrett Wilson pick an A plus. Getting the best receiver in the class is always an A plus. So probably would have bumped it up to an A. But Atlanta Falcon fans, let me know in the comments what you guys think of this draft. I like it. Again, I didn't click the 7th round mock draft, just like I did it for the Saints. So the Saints would have more would have more picks, but I'm dumb and I kind of forgot. So anyway, moving on to the Saints, right? The Saints need a wide receiver. There was an opportunity for a trade back with the Packers, to where the Packers trade up and take Treylon Burks, and they get like a third or a second or third round pick, and they just take whatever leftovers are left 4 picks later. But I said, heck no. Stay still and take the best available wide receiver. Treylon Burks is massive. He's a wide receiver 1. So you can take that load off of Michael Thomas. And, Treylon Burks is a very tall receiver. He's a 50-50 guy, but with him, it's like a 75-25. I love Treylon Burks. I love his tape. Has versatility, runs almost every route in the route tree, can, play any XYZ gadget role you want. And Michael Thomas might be able to come back now because he's not the only receiver. And he might come back and be like, you know what? Fine. I see you guys are really trying to, help me out as a receiver, because Treylon Burks is going to bring, corner 1 coverage. And if it isn't corner 1 coverage, he's going to feast on the corner 2. Unless you have an elite set of corners, you can't cover Michael Thomas and Treylon Burks. So it'd be really interesting to see what the Saints would look like with Treylon Burks. Again, I thought about trading back with the Packers, letting them trade up, get Treylon Burks, and you take like Chris Olave, or you take a Sky Moore. But I'm like, no, you take the best receiver on the board. Don't let another team take it. Next up is Kellen Dyche. Again, he's one of my guys. Kellen Dyche is one of my guys. I love him out of Arizona State. He is phenomenal. People are talking bad about him. I love Kellen Dyche. Genuinely, Arizona State fans, I understand, he hasn't been the greatest, but I think his foundation to build off of for the Saints is franchise left tackle level. He might start at left tackle for you for the next 5 to 8 years. He genuinely might. So if you can get a Kellen Dyche, he replaces Teron Armstead, who went to the Dolphins for a 5-year, $75 million contract. They overpaid for him. But if you can get Kellen Dyche at left tackle and have him next to is that Andres Pete at left guard? I think Kellen Dyche is good enough to mix with Andres Pete and really cover up a couple of Andres Pete's, deficiencies, because he's not the greatest guard. They overpaid for him massively. But I like Kellen Dyche. I think he could be a starter in this league. I did reach, again, that's on me. I know I reached on him. You can get him in the 3rd round. But I saw him on the board as the best available tackle at that position. And I'm like, yes, that's the pick. Next up is James Cook, brother of Dalvin Cook. I don't know what's going to happen with Alvin Kamara. Does anyone know what's going to happen with Alvin Kamara? I mean, he beat up a dude. Him and his friends beat up a dude, put him in the hospital. Is he going to play this year? At all? He genuinely might not play, or at minimum miss multiple games. So if you can get a James Cook in there, who I think he's not an exact mold of Alvin Kamara, but he can catch out of the backfield. He's really good at pass pro. And he's a solid enough runner to where if you don't want to have Mark Ingram as your lead back, James Cook can be your lead back. And I think that'd be really good for this offense in the case of Alvin Kamara's suspension, or even imprisonment. He's facing prison time, guys. He might go to prison for some kind of time. He just straight up beat a dude up for no reason. He assaulted him. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that case happens. Whatever happens, happens. But this is for protection for the franchise, because I am playing as a GM. This is protecting my team. I'm drafting a running back to make sure that if we need a lead back, James Cook can step in. It's not too much of a reach either. He is going to be a 3rd round pick. I think at worst, he's going to be a 4th round pick, because James Cook can step in and start day 1 for a couple franchises like the Falcons. But I like James Cook. He has all the abilities I would want. A little slow. I wish he would have ran a little faster, because he plays fast on TV. But whatever. And then my favorite pick of this draft for this team is Brian Cook. Brian Cook out of Cincinnati is an immediate Marcus Williams replacement. 6'1", 210. That's Marcus Williams, is 6'1", 210. They play almost the same role, but I think Brian Cook is not as good as Marcus Williams yet, but I think he has the potential to be, and you need to replace him. Brian Cook is a perfect replacement, in my opinion, in the third round with the safeties that were available. That's why I gave it an A pick. He's going to be a second round pick, in my opinion. I really like Brian Cook, so give me a B-. I completely agree. If the Kellen Dyche pick doesn't work out, because again, I'm projecting massively, because I see the foundation of what he is. So if he doesn't work out, I completely understand his D- grade. But I'm fine with this, because I like the Brian Cook. I like the Traylon Burks pick. James Cook is just protection for the franchise. So B-, I'm okay with that. Saints fans, let me know in the comments what you think. Finally, my favorites of all the drafts, of every single draft, the Buccaneers. Okay, listen. I was so proud of this draft, and you want to know why? Because look at that damn draft. Zion Johnson, Perrion Winfrey, Isaiah Likely, and Myron Tagovailoa-Amosa, dude. That is just chef's kiss. So Zion Johnson, what do I gotta say that you guys haven't heard of already? With the Buccaneers, Nakobe Dean was on the board at 27, and that was a pick I was really thinking about. You know, projecting for the future with this franchise. You're not gonna have Shaquille Barrett forever. You're not gonna have that defensive. You don't have any defensive edges on your team right now. You're not gonna have, what's his name, the linebacker Levante David. You're not gonna have him forever. You already don't have Ndamukong Suh. You don't have him back anymore. You don't have Golstead anymore, or Golston. So, but I went with Zion Johnson. He's an elite prospect. He's the best guard in this class. He's gonna step in and be more than likely one of the best guards in the NFC immediately. He can play left guard, right guard, center as well. He can take snaps. But if he steps in at left guard, that would be the best offensive line in the league. Because you have Tristan Wirfs, All-Pro, Shaq Mason, Pro Bowler, Ryan Jensen, All-Pro, Zion Johnson, who could be a fringe Pro Bowl All-Pro guy, and Donovan Smith, who I'm not a personal big fan of Donovan Smith, but Donovan Smith still's there. That would probably be the best offensive line in the league with Zion Johnson. No chance he falls to 27, so maybe a trade up more for Zion Johnson, because that's all they need. They need Zion Johnson and pass rushers. And guess who was there in the second round? Perrion Winfrey. Perrion Winfrey is my favorite defensive interior guy in this class. I would speak millions of words for him. Perrion Winfrey is the best pass rushing defensive interior guy in this class. His technique, his brutality to get to the quarterback is unlike anyone else in this draft. The fact he's going to be a second round pick is insane. And that shows you the depth of this defense in this draft. Like the fact that a guy like Perrion Winfrey is going to be in the second round just shows that this defense is insane. Like this defensive class is insane. But putting him next to Vita Vea, I know they run a lot of 3-tech, where there's not a lot of defensive linemen on the there's not a lot of D tackles and interior defensive linemen on the field. But if you want to throw Perrion Winfrey out there, he will pass rush. Like if you want to play Jadeveon Clowney, right? Jadeveon Clowney can play D tackle and defensive end. That's how crazy good he is. Perrion Winfrey could be that, but he's gonna be a D tackle that can play defensive end. He's a really good pass rusher. Put him and Vita Vea on the field together, because Vita Vea is more of a run stuffer. He's more of a pass rusher. They can do miracles together. Next up is Isaiah Likely. This is my Cameron Brates, O.J. Howard replacement, because I think Gronk's going to come back. Isaiah Likely is one of the best pass catchers in this class, and he's a pretty solid run blocker as well. Out of Coastal Carolina, I believe I took another Coastal Carolina guy earlier. Yeah, Jeffrey Gunter. So apparently I like Coastal Carolina today. But Isaiah Likely is one of the best tight ends in this class all around. Definitely one of the best receivers. Pretty solid run blocker. I'd like to see what he can do with Tom Brady throwing to him. And again, if Gronk doesn't come back, which I don't believe he's not going to, he's going to come back, guys. There's no way he doesn't come back. But I think it's just about money. But Isaiah Likely is insurance for Gronk. And if Gronk comes back, he can develop behind Gronkowski and genuinely could become the future starting tight end of this team. Next up is Zach Tom. Again, this is I don't like Donovan Smith. So Zach Tom is your left tackle that you can really develop and project a year or two from now that hopefully Zach Tom can develop and become a starter for you. And at worst, he's a backup. At worst, he's a really solid backup out of Wake Forest. really good pass blocker, solid run blocker. It's not super duper great, but he's good at everything. Next up is Kalen Barnes in the 7th round. Same with Myron Tagovailoa-Amosa. They're both in the 7th round. These are guys that slipped out of the 5th round all the way to the 7th in this mock draft. Well, apparently they rated them so low. If you go to if you go to another mock machine, they're like 5th round picks. So Kalen Barnes, really fast. That's all he is. He's not anything else besides really fast. And that cornerback room, you know, sometimes you gotta draft gunners for special teams. And I think Kalen Barnes could be a pretty good gunner in the league. You know what? Matthew Slater is a receiver, never catches a ball, but he's on special teams. And Myron Tagovailoa-Amosa, same thing, gives you depth at edge. And if I'm not mistaken, they don't have a single defensive edge on the team, like at all on the roster. So Myron Tagovailoa-Amosa, at worst, is a backup. At best, could be a fringe starter. But I really do believe they're going to fill that edge position with free agents post-draft. But yeah, that's my mock draft of the NFC South. If you guys do want to see more, leave it down in the description what team you want to see me do next. Or not what team, what division you want me to do next. I kind of want to do like NFC South, AFC South, NFC East, AFC East, NFC West, AFC West, NFC, then AFC North. Like, do it with the pairing. If you guys did enjoy this video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Again, hit that notification bell to be notified when I go live for that draftathon and when I post. So, also, hit my link tree in the description. I have like all of my stuff, my TikTok, everything there. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys later. Peace and bye.